second. So, do you believe Adam and Eve was a thing that God created?
Yeah, and science would agree as well. In some sense, chicken or egg, there must have been at least two first humans. But we struggle to explain it, right? We'll just go to material. Like,
Wait,
where and how do we explain the merging of the second and third chromosome from what is supposedly our direct closest ancestors, right? The
so,
chimps,
but
they have,
you
you
understand
know.
that it was an evolutionary process that developed humanity, right? It wasn't just like
Oh,
a, huh?
well, it depends what we're saying. In one sense, the merging of the second and third chromosome, right, which gives us our set of chromosomes completely distinct, is actually a phenomenon that's a very hot topic at the minute. There's theories and understanding, but even in there, at least there must have been two humans that were humans, but how did they get there? So we have this constant. I have no problem with the facts of evolution as the facts state themselves of the knowledge they state. As we want to project that into a bigger arc, a bigger story of the whole creation of life on Earth, it still has many holes. That isn't a problem for science. Science loves their holes,
Okay,
right?
okay.
But for people that want to believe in science as an absolute, irrefutable worldview and explains everything, it is not yet complete.
Okay,
Right.
one second.
So yeah, absolutely. I say humans as absolutely unique as a species. Absolutely, they were formed in man and woman, and in the most logical sense, when humans came, there must have been at least two humans to make other humans. So at least in that is clearly accurate.
So
And
wait,
no biologist would go, no, that's not the case. Right?
Yeah, because I'm trying to say, like, you understand that it was an evolutionary process that took freaking like I don't want to say millions of years, but hundreds of thousands of years to some extent, right?
So we have hominids, right? We understand that hominids, hundreds of thousands of years for sure.
So
we had, right?
Right. So if why would God allow such time period and then just drop two humans?
Well, he lives outside of time and space, right? So time is obviously of no consequence to him. We could go, everything. We go, the Earth took millions of years to process because there was, the stars had to collapse and make higher and higher elements. Those nebula had to create new galaxies in
Stars,
which more complicated chemistry. So you've got all that process, right? And that takes time in this time, right? And then we have a planet, and that took time to develop all these deeply complicated, wonderful geological systems, right?
Okay.
Which we find.
Okay, so one second.
And then on that, life emerges, and then in that life, Adam and Eve.
Okay,
mankind.
So
definitely.
It's a great thing. It's really, really, really surprising. You can believe in millions, billions of years could have gone past, and then all of a sudden he decides to drop humanity. Why isn't that literally written in the Bible then? Why not just have it explains that it took billions of years for the universe to be created, and then for him to say, humanity deserves to be plucked down.
Well, the people would have to carry the story, right? In that reality, if we're going, right, there really is a God, and he really made man. You're like, yeah, okay. Well, you've got to give them a story they can carry, right? If you're going, he's got to give them a story. And you're
so
like,
then,
okay, so you're going to give him,
you're proving my point.
He's going to reveal, like Moses was going to come down with a mountain and go, boys, I need some help. There's literally like a library of Alexandria full of textbooks on shit that I don't even know. It's just squiggles of stuff.
Rob, he could have easily just said the universe took billions of years, which isn't adding much to the text apparently. And once the solar system and the star was formed and the earth was ready, I plopped down humans. It wouldn't have taken much to do that, now would it? And I don't see it being that difficult.
What if we find out that's not exactly how it happened? What if our science is slightly faulty? What if we discover next year, right, that actually
are you
the sun and the solar system isn't as old as we thought it was, or that it was much, much older. Because right now you're going, why doesn't the Bible tell us what we know to be true now? You're going, well, how true do you know it to be?
But that's what I'm pointing out. He could have literally. Why wouldn't he just tell us the age of the solar system? And then once we came upon the same conclusion that it's the same age, then that would have been proof that he was right and the story would have been right, and then people could have made the choice
because
from there.
All that would have happened was people would have gone, that's how old the Earth is, right? And then if you tested it, you'd have only tested that which affirms it. And if it was wrong, you'd be like a Muslim going.
But that isn't how science works. And you said it. You said it. That isn't how science works. We go with an assumption and then we try to prove or disprove that assumption on what we believe.
But you've just said God has revealed everything, right? In its scientific forms.
He hasn't revealed anything.
No, but you're saying, but he should have. And I'm saying, well, let's work with that. What would happen if he did? And that's when you spoke out the last time and said, if he revealed everything in a scientific process, right, then there wouldn't be a scientific process to develop, to discover it.
Or something to disprove it. The whole entire point is they will go with your assumption. They would have been skeptical. Skeptics, sorry, not skeptics.
So people would choose to keep on trying to disprove it, but they still wouldn't disprove it, right?
Yeah, that would be a really, really interesting
that
universe
would make
to
you
see.
Believe in God.
What?
So he says this Earth is, 3.6 billion years old, but even that would be accurate because we're only using our cycles, including the quarter. So anyway, we have to come up with something slightly more accurate. But so he comes up with the 3.6 billion years old there. And he just says that. He says the world was made 3.6 billion years ago, and then the rest of the Bible is basically the same.
It would have given us some place to start. Like if it was possible that it could have been that accurate for the beginning, then we could have said, oh, there's a possibility that there is some truth to what it says in the book. But none of that happens.
So
none of that is anywhere in what?
God's word that there aren't more than two genders. We're just trying to prove that there aren't more than two genders to prove God's word and its truth.
What are you talking about? Wait, are you? Wait.
I thought they were kind of trying to disprove that there was two genders because God said there was two genders. And if we can prove that there's not two genders, then ergo no God.
Oh wait, are you trying to say sex and sexuality are the same things, or you? Because you keep saying this, and I'm like, are you just talking about genitalia, or are you talking about sexuality on a spectrum?
Well, genitalia is a representation of that which is true in our nature, that we sexually reproduce. In that we sexually reproduce, we are that of man and woman, of gamete A and gamete B in sexual production to produce the sexual zygote, right, which is a new member, right, of the species, a new created member through sexual reproduction, which is a male and female gamete coming together. In that we are humans and we sexually reproduce, there is only two sexes.
I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to cut you off for a second. I'm going to cut you off for a second. You do understand there's slugs and all these kinds of things in nature that change sex depending on the environment they're in, right? So why would humans be different? Because they're not animals, or are they animals?
We reproduce sexually, right? Some animals reproduce asexually.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about the ones that are able to switch sex.
Fungus doesn't have male or female. It has something like 260 genders. Right? In fungus.
But
not man.
But
man was made of woman and man, right? Male and female.
Yet again, I'm asking you about, are you just talking about the sexual appendages, or are you talking about sexuality?
No, the body, right. Humans are sexually reproduced, right? That is what humans are. If they were both internal genitalia, they would still be used to switch two gametes of the opposite sexes to fuse into a zygote to make a new species, right? A new species, a new member of the species, right? A new human being, which would be of male and female in design. Now, the fact that there might be exceptions by bad mutations, bad things in development, things that have gone wrong, right? They prove the rule because they're exceptions of it, right? But they don't establish a new sexual order, right? They don't allow for another form of sexual reproduction, right? So it doesn't matter what our genitalia look like, they are what they are, and they clearly work functionally, one to go in the other. That's obvious.
Okay.
Right? That is our sex,
No,
right?
no one's
that
really...
is our gender. That is what we are
there's
as a
a difference between
species.
sex
Now,
and
if you want to go into an individual and go, an individual feels that there's something other than their gender is, where you go, but that's just their fifis. It doesn't affect the reality of what we are. It doesn't.
Rob,
it doesn't
you're
change
very old
brilliance.
school.
It doesn't change the nature of our evolution. If you want to look at it like that, we've evolved to be
okay. So I'm
sexually reproducing species. Man and woman, right, is what humans are.
For reproductive purposes, I guess you can say sure.
In their nature, no, far more. Everything. A man is very much a man, which is very much different from a woman. Yes, a man is very much in nature different from a woman.
How? This is super funny. How is that? How are they so different?
By the fact that trans people go, literally, I've got a female brain, right? Because there are that which you can align, right, to female brains, which is significantly different from male brains. That's why we have trans people, because they go, no, I am not a man, I am a woman. So is there sex or is there not sex? What does science say? Science says yes. What does science say about the individual who's confused? They're confused. It's not their fault, doesn't make them a bad person, doesn't mean they're not worth love, doesn't mean they're not a valid human being. It just means that they haven't broken down the basic truth of our nature, which was revealed to us, that as humans, we are man and woman. Two genders, that's it. Science
okay, wait. I'm very confused on how you can spout all this love stuff from your God or your creator thing, and then deny people their existence because your understanding.
Don't deny them their existence. Their existence is somebody who is born a male but doesn't feel male, feels that they're female. Now, I completely accept their reality. That is their reality. Now, their reality is not reality, right? Like, I can think things and it doesn't change the universe and its nature, right? I don't not love them because I don't go, because you feel that you're a woman, you're not a 6'8" man. I understand that you're a 6'8" man who feels they're a woman, and I love you, and I accept your truth that you feel that you're a woman. But if you tell me I hate you because I do not accept that you are a natural born woman, just the same as any other woman, then it is you that's full of hate, not me. It's you that hates truth, not me. It's you that's causing problems, not me.
Did you just say what? you just broke my brain, I think. So you're putting all the blame on the individual. Huh?
I said you can thank me later.
No. This is not a good thanking or anything of the sort. It's just I'm completely lost in how your brain works. Normally I can understand a human's brain fairly quickly, but yours is something different. Not a good different.
You saying I'm not human? What are you saying?
I'm just saying your logic on how you process things is very, very odd.
I take that as a compliment coming from you.
Sure. I mean, I'm always curious when I find people like this, so it's very interesting. I definitely need to have you again, but at the moment I kind of have to run, so we're gonna have to cut it.
No worries. That was that was a good 2-hour session. That was a good 2 hour.
2 hours and 20 minutes.
I don't know. There you go. That's way over.
Yeah.
But all right,
okay.
cool.
It's okay. So we'll end it and we'll see you guys on the next episode.